They're bold, they're powerful, and they're some of my favorite people on the planet. That's right, today we are talking about type 8. Yeah, I guess I don't get why people find me to be so intimidating. Hi, I'm Victoria, and I'm an opera singer, but I also happen to love the Enneagram. Y'all, I'm gonna try minorly a little bit to keep this as objective as possible, but I really love type 8s, and frankly, I feel like they get a bad rap. So today, we're really just gonna go for it with type 8s. We're gonna unpack some stuff, and I think we're gonna have a really great time doing it. On today's episode, we are talking all about type 8s, also known as the Challenger, because they really do challenge themselves and others to just be the best that they can be. They want to leave their imprint on the world. They want to make a difference. They are powerful, they are strong, and they're independent, and they do not need you. 8s. You do actually need other people, but we'll get more into that as we keep talking. An 8's core fear is of being controlled or violated by others. Consequently, their core desire is to protect themselves and determine their own course in life. You are good or okay if you are strong and in control of your situation. 8s do not want to be controlled or to allow others to have any kind of power over them, whether that be social, sexual, financial, psychologically. They're in control and you will not take that away from them, dang it. So this kind of gets the whole 8s are just super power hungry. Not really. 8s use power as a way for them to know that they are not being controlled by anybody else. And this also tends to create a very, very independent person that does not like to be dependent on anybody but themselves. If you want something done right, you better do it yourself. When 8s are healthy and thriving, they are the natural leaders of the world. They're incredibly protective over those who matter most to them. And they really are the people that get stuff done. Who run the world? 8s. All right, but let's talk about kind of some issues that 8s face, the subtypes within the 8 itself, as well as what we can do to help 8s become the absolute rock star 8s that we know that they are. Let's talk childhood pattern with little baby 8s. So the thing about baby 8s is that a lot of the times they felt, for whatever reason, that they needed to grow up faster than other kiddos. So this could have been something really serious, like a very emotionally or physically abusive home environment, or it could have just been for whatever reason they felt like they were better at being in control of their own situation. Whatever it is, 8s grew up fast. That loss of childhood innocence happened real quick. Furthermore, 8s somehow learn when they're little babies that being soft or vulnerable with others was a sign of weakness. So really from the time that they're little kiddos, they start to build up this emotional armor that continues to build through life until we start breaking it down a little bit. Let's talk wings and how they really create two very different 8s. So 8s have two wings, a 7 wing and a 9 wing. So an 8 wing 7 is gonna be the most independent kind of person in the world. I'm just gonna say that point blank. These are action-oriented people and they want to have an impact on their world. They take that driven and energetic part of the 7 and it really complements the 8's desire to get things done and to do so in a powerful way really, really nicely. They can be adventurous risk takers in their pursuits, and these folks are practical and competitive. Now, something to look out for as an 8 wing 7 is noticing that you're beginning to get really impatient, or they can become pretty openly aggressive or hostile if they feel like something is happening really inefficiently. They are more snappy and tend to lose patience with folks a little bit more easily. So consequently, we have an 8 wing 9, and that 9 wing really colors the 8 quite differently, whereas an 8 wing 7 is super independent, usually pretty outgoing, pretty openly super driven. An 8 wing 9 is the more protective and quieter and maybe a little bit more strategic in their power than like overly like pushing their power on people all of the time. This subtype has to look out a little bit more for being super duper stubborn, like once I make up my mind, that's it, and blah. And this sort of like quiet and strategic energy of an 8 wing 9 makes them terrifying. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Let's talk instinctual variants in an 8. I think that instinctual variants have been a little bit confusing for folks, so I'm just going to try to simplify it a little bit. Basically, we have all of them: self-preservation, social, and one-on-one. But there always seems to be one set of issues that all of us focus most on in our lives. So self-preservation types of all the types fixate on survival. Social types fixate on belonging, and one-on-one types fixate on intimacy. So a self-preservation 8 is going to be the most like no nonsense, bring home the bacon kind of 8. So this is a kind of person who they're going to be a little bit more materialistic than the other two subtypes, making sure that whatever position of power that they're in is to make themselves and their family unit as comfortable as they possibly can be. They tend to be more domestic than the other two types of 8s, and something that a self-pres 8 just kind of needs to watch out for is feeling like you're like treating people like I need to just toughen them up sort of thing, or fixating on their own material security at the expense of others somehow. A social type 8 is a very interesting 8, and I can almost consider it to be a sort of counter type. So a social 8 is somebody who has a very strong inner circle of people that they care about and protect at pretty much all costs. Get yourself a social 8 on your side. Social 8s are just kind of that friend. If you're feeling a certain way, they go, no, you don't need to be treated that way. We are going to get justice for you. Like, you don't have to take this. I am here for you. Advocate, advocate, advocate. Like, that's a social 8 for you right there. Something to look out for as a social 8 is when you feel like you've been like betrayed by somebody close to you, cutting them off. Sometimes you do have to cut off relationships that are bad for you, but if it's just a disagreement or something, making sure that you really repair that, because close friendships are really, really important to 8s of all kinds. Holding on to a grudge for too long isn't going to make anybody happy, and it's certainly not going to help you strengthen your relationships. A one-on-one type 8, wow. All 8s are like passionate people, but like these are intense folks. They're very charismatic people and can kind of enjoy, I'm sorry, one-on-one 8s, but you kind of like being bad, ooh, what can I get away with? In the unhealthy range, just kind of watch out for, especially whoever your intimate partner is in life. Watch out for being a little bit too demanding or domineering of them, or getting unnecessarily jealous, because of course you don't want to drive that person away. You love them. So all 9 types on the Enneagram have a sort of wake-up call. And what that means is when we are starting to descend into a period of stress and maybe some disintegration, there's usually a pattern of behavior that begins to arise. And if we can kind of catch it for type 8s, when y'all begin to notice this struggle for self-sufficiency. So what does that mean? 8s are fiercely independent, and it's one of the things that I admire most about 8s. However, once you're starting to notice yourself feeling I'm the only person that can handle this situation, life is suddenly a battle for you to win rather than something for you to actively participate in and enjoy and share with others. And this active resistance towards any sort of dependency on anyone else in any sort of way. 8s, I hate to break it to you, I know you seriously are the most independent people in the world. It truly amazes me, and I think it's super awesome. You can never be truly independent. I'm going to say it one more time.
You can never be truly independent.
People need other people. That's right. Even you. And it can cause you to resent people in your life if you're like, nobody else is able to do this job, I'm just gonna like struggle against everything. And like once you start like feeling like you're a little like stress ball of like rage that's like building inside you, like, hi, this is your wake-up call. Eights ignore their wake-up call of struggling for self-sufficiency and become increasingly controlling, rebellious, defiant, stubborn. They will actually withdraw completely and disintegrate to an unhealthy 5. So this is super interesting. What does this look like for an unhealthy 8? So they begin to tire of their increased aggression and hostility towards their environment and possibly others, and they retreat completely. It's kind of like, I was going to make a military reference here, but I just realized like I have no business doing that because I don't really know anything about the military. So eventually an 8's like confrontational, willful, even aggressive methods are not working anymore. So they completely retreat. Like an unhealthy 5, often brooding, reading, gathering lots of information. They're basically just gathering ammo. 8s are usually so action-based, and now they feel like unable to act, unable to move, and it's essentially a way for them to like take a step back and re-strategize and come back even stronger. And you know that it's a little spooky when an 8 goes to 5. 8s, what can we do for you? I have a few suggestions, and I'm hoping that these can help you prevent yourself from getting into like this withdraw and retreat sort of thing that, you know, turns you into a little like stress ball. 8s, first thing, you've got to start getting in touch with your feelings. I'm so sorry to say it, but like that is step number 1. You may be the most strong and powerful person ever. We know that you are. You don't have to prove that to us, but you still have feelings, and it's time for you to start processing them. V for vulnerability. This is going to be your biggest friend and possibly your biggest obstacle that you have ever overcome. But guess what? 8s love obstacles. You love challenges. So consider this to be your next challenge. 8s practice being vulnerable with those who are closest to you. Like, try to take a moment, take a walk, take a deep breath, meditate a little bit. This is all easier said than done, and I get it, and like life is a journey, but just like give it a try. Blowing up at people or at yourself like is usually not the best way to actually solve a problem. An integrated 8 is truly an amazing person. And like, again, so sorry, I said I would try not to get too subjective, but I mean, I've done a pretty bad job at it so far. 8s move to the healthy aspects of a 2 when they are doing well. So what's so exciting about this is that 8s, you don't have to change anything, literally not a dang thing about you. You just recognize your bigness of heart. Think about how big you are in your life. You are so powerful and so strong. Your heart is also that big. I'm not asking you to imitate the qualities of an average or unhealthy 2, and all of a sudden you're like people pleasing and flattering and like you need to be needed by everybody and you need everybody to like you. No. Also, sorry 2s, I didn't mean to attack you there. You know that I love you. This is where that big old vulnerability piece comes in. The people who you are closest to, they want to hear from you. They want to be there for you. And it actually makes you an even more courageous person to be able to open up to those who are closest to you and let them be there for you. And then you can go back to being that big, powerful superstar that you are. You know that you are. 8s, as you allow that vulnerability to surface, you are able to let go of that fear of being out of control, because you know that you are a solid foundation for yourself, but you have a solid foundation of other people around you that want to be there for you, and know that, you know what, we know you can take care of yourself, 8s. That's not what I'm talking about here, but like, Humans are social creatures. Like, you can never be truly, truly independent. So allow people to be there for you. Alrighty, let's talk type 8s in opera a little bit. You are never going to see a type 8 that doesn't like know what their character is about. An 8 that doesn't have an opinion about the music and about motivations and everything like that. So watching an 8 perform is kind of like a mesmerizing experience because I just love that they always have a point of view and you can see that, and it is independent and it is unlike anybody else's point of view. 8s, you know what I'm gonna say, especially as singers, there are a lot of situations in which you're not actually in charge. The director's in charge of staging, the conductor has the final say on all the musical stuff, and that can be really, really hard for you to like relinquish that control in that situation. And I guess my advice is this. In those situations, remember that you still control your own sound, your own presence on stage. Yes, you have to follow someone's staging, but you absolutely 100% have control over your own agency as an artist. Practicing vulnerability also is going to be important for you both on and off the stage. So it's really exciting that as 8s begin to integrate as people, obviously they begin to grow as singers as well. There is a quote in the Enneagram book that I love so much about 8s, and it is this: your muchness is a gift. And I really couldn't say it better myself. 8s, you are big people, big opinions, big dreams, big personalities. And you know what? Not everybody's gonna like that. And I gotta tell you something. I'm gonna be really real with you. Those are not your people, because your bigness, your muchness is a gift. And the people who you have chosen to be your people in your life are so flippin' lucky to have you. You are always advocating for others, for yourself. You teach us what it means to be strong, to stand up for yourself, and to stand up for your beliefs. There are so many type 8s in opera. Oftentimes they're the villains. Sorry, guys. But I actually did pick a type 8 who is not a villain, and she is the title heroine of probably my favorite opera, and that is Tosca. Or Tosca. Tosca. I don't care. I'm gonna call her Tosca. Please don't come for me. Tosca is an opera singer. We get her 8 energy literally immediately. She's probably a one-on-one type 8. Just thinking. She shows up and immediately with Cavaradossi, she's like, hi, I love you so much, but like this painting doesn't look exactly like me, and that makes me really jealous, and I'm not okay with it, so let me tell you about it. You need to change her eyes right now to make them look like mine. Okay, thanks, bye, I love you. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Act 2 rolls around. There's a lot of like political stuff going on, but we don't care about that. Basically, Cavaradossi's being tortured, and this is a nightmare for anybody, but for a type 8 who wants to use their ability to control their own situation, to protect the people who are closest to them, like this is a terrible situation. She has to kind of live out her worst nightmare here, which is she agrees to sleep. Ew, so gross, icky, disgusting. She agrees to sleep with Scarpia if he lets Cavaradossi go, basically. She is saving somebody that she cares very much about, that she is very protective over, but now she is losing her own autonomy. She has completely lost control of her own body. She sings Visi Darze. Scarpia agrees to release Cavaradossi, and he's about to, have his way with her. And Tosca, she honestly decides like she would literally rather murder him than have to lose control over her situation and lose her own autonomy. So she says, "This is Tosca's kiss," and she literally stabs him. Like stabbing him. She's like, "Morty! Morty! Morty!" Oh, Morty means die in Italian, sorry. Oh my gosh, it is so amazing. And then when she realizes he's dead, she goes, "All right, well, now I forgive you." And it's just so good. Tosca's here. She's got a plan. 8s always have a plan. They're always in charge. So she goes to Cavaradossi and she's like, hey, guess what? It's going to be a fake firing squad. It's all good. So you just like play dead. And then you and I are going to run off and we're going to escape this whole place and everything's going to be all good. And of course, the firing squad is not fake. It is very, very real. And she goes, oh my gosh, what a good actor. Haha, he learned from me. He's actually dead. Tosca has completely lost it in this moment. And she does fling herself off the side of a building saying that Scarpia, you and I will, see each other before God now and he'll judge us. And that's it. That's it for Tosca. So Tosca is actually a pretty healthy 8, except for, the thing that happens at the end. It was just like a lot of really unfortunate circumstances for her, but like the way that she is able to be vulnerable with Cavaradossi and the way that she's really able to protect him and how big her heart is when it comes to somebody she cares about. Like, hi, Tosca, we see you. Truly, the world would literally not exist without type 8s. You are the ones that get things done. And you know what? Your last step, just getting the courage to be vulnerable with those that you are closest to. Let people support you the way that you support them, and there is nothing stopping you in this whole world. See you later, 8s. I love you. You are so strong. You are so powerful. You are so vulnerable. Go get them. Thank you so much for watching my video today on type 8s. If you are still curious about what your Enneagram type might be, send me a message. I will help you figure it out. I can't wait to keep going through all of my different Enneagram types, so I'll see you next week for the next one. Let me know in the comments which type I should do next. I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I am listening to you guys. So if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Please share it with your friends. Oh my gosh, please share this with your friends. And yep. I will see you guys next week. Thanks again for joining me on this episode about type 8s. Woohoo!